night. Certainly DJ Bird making those threes at the beginning of the game was a big part of it, got them off to a great start. We did not respond very well. I thought this was really maybe the first game all year where we looked a half step slow to loose balls and rebounds and things of that nature in the first half. And I thought those extra possessions, 2 or 3 times, loose balls seemed to end up in their hands, and then all of a sudden they throw it to somebody for a wide open shot or 3, and it ended up being a basket. So I thought that was a big part of it initially. Obviously our lack of shooting was extremely problematic. You just can't shoot 4 out of 23. We only had 5 turnovers. And you can't go 11 for 20 from the line and expect to cut into the lead. I thought the second half, we tried to press, we played some zone, and we just mixed some things up to give ourselves a chance. But to Purdue's credit, they kept running their stuff. And every time you're chasing teams around a little bit, they're gonna cut you up a little bit. They did with some layups and runners, late in some clocks, and they were just better from start to finish tonight.
Questions?
Happy with the way Booker responded as the only senior out there?
He did a good job, especially under circumstances with, playing with a heavy heart with his grandfather. He's had a hard 2 days. Really did not know until 6 o'clock basically that he was coming back. It was touch and go whether he would even come back. I thought he competed very hard and probably played the best and the hardest of anybody on our team tonight.
What happened with his grandfather?
I had a heart attack, and basically was on life support, still is, I believe, and so he spent the last 2 days basically with that.
Brad, what's Milt's situation with this team?
I'm going to evaluate it here through the week and come to a decision on what I think is best and what I want to do.
What was your message at halftime? Anything?
Just we're getting outplayed. When teams make those kinds of shots, it energizes them, and especially when you're on a road team. And it gave Purdue tremendous amounts of confidence. And I told them we were a step slow. We didn't get loose balls. We had 0 offensive rebounds. We were a little out of whack at times because we played small lineups, and we really haven't even practiced that, but today. And so there were some things that, we just were a little jumbled on and not very clean. But I also thought we weren't as locked in as we normally are. And we let a banked in 3, and then he makes one falling out of bounds, and then a loose ball that we should have, and it gets knocked out of our hand. Like, we let all those little things that bother you, that happen negatively for you, bother you, and we kind of carried that with us through the first half, just like almost playing like today's not our night, and that's really inexcusable. And sometimes with young kids, they fall into pity parties and feel like it's it's just not going well. But we got to make it go well. And we tried in the second half, but couldn't get it done, couldn't get over the hump, couldn't make enough shots.
How difficult is it when you have a team like yours that maybe struggles sometimes on the outside when you build a 20-point deficit? I mean, it seems like that's a tough thing to
Yeah, it's real hard. We're not explosive enough scoring to overcome those kinds of deficits easily. The other team has to help us with turnovers for points. They have to miss free throws. They have to give us more possessions. And, it's crazy. If we make a couple of opportunistic threes, the one call that I was upset about, was close, bang, bang, then it probably gets a little interesting. I don't think we win the game, but it would have gotten it interesting. But, that's basketball. You've got to make those plays to give yourself those opportunities, and we're not nearly good enough for all that.
You had 6 assists on 23 baskets. Do you think early on y'all settled for too many jumpers early?
A little bit, but I think some of that's the way Purdue played us. I think they came in and Purdue hadn't played for a week now. They've been sitting there watching us in Old Spice and licking their wounds from some tough losses up in New York, and I'm sure they had some very enthusiastic practices. And, Matt does a good job. So they, a good game plan. They were very ready, and their guys were ready to play somebody else. That's one of those things where you get tired of practicing against each other. Let's go compete. And then some balls, then when you start shooting it well, start feeling pretty good.
Coach, you only had 6 rebounds in the first half, and obviously some of that is them not missing very often. But you had to be disappointed that
Our lack of offensive rebounding was really poor. That was obviously a major point of emphasis at halftime, that, hey fellas, if we're missing, we better go attack the glass. Nobody's not telling you to go offensive rebound. And, Purdue's they're a good rebounding team. We knew that coming in, but we were not competing as hard as we need to on that side of the interior part of the game.
with all that being said, y'all still cut a 23-point lead down to single digits in the final minutes without ever really shooting very well. I mean, it had to be good to see that fight from your team.
It is, but, a lot of games, I told our team at halftime, you're down 20, and after the game, if you don't fight back when you're down 20, I mean, most rats fight when they're in a corner. And you're expected to do that. And pressure shifts to the opponent because they got the lead. It's hard to hang on to it. I don't put as much stock into that as some people. I'm certainly glad we did it. I do think we played better. I do think we played harder, absolutely. But we did not do enough things at a high level to really come close to turning it. And again, some of that's because of Purdue. Purdue executed well, and then our lack of shooting, and then a little bit of defensive lapses late. We got tired and we gave some things up.
How's this leave you feeling going into Sunday's game?
I'm still more worried about this, just trying to figure this one out. We need to watch film, need to bring our guys in and learn from this film, and really spend, a little time figuring out why we got smashed tonight a little bit. And then, shortly thereafter, certainly we got to get our minds right and lock into the next opponent, South Carolina.
I know you said as far as Mill's concerned, you're going to look at a couple of things over the next couple of days. In your mind tonight, would you expect him to be available Sunday?
I don't know.
Any other questions?
Is status with the team in jeopardy?
I don't know.
Any other questions about the game?
Yeah, Coach, I wanted to go back to the second half. You switched to a 1-3-1 there in the second half. Seemed to confuse Purdue a little bit. They didn't attack it as effectively.
Yeah.
Then coming out of a timeout, you went back to a man-to-man. They scored back-to-back baskets. We're just trying to keep them off balance.
Yeah,
coming out
just,
of the timeout.
he called timeout. I'm sure he was going to, God knows what he's doing around there. I'm sure he was going to probably put a little set together, because we kind of, we really haven't shown that defense much this year. And so I'm sure, they haven't prepared much for it. And we just felt like coming out of the timeout, we try, a possession man-to-man, and, didn't work. Sometimes you overthink it.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.